Okay, so here's the deal, right? I just want to be fully transparent with you. Obviously, I'm an HR consultant, right? But I want to outline to you some of the reasons why you shouldn't just straight up consider outsourcing your HR within the health and social sector. And there are some phenomenal reasons why you shouldn't do that. Because a lot of the times, what will happen is you'll be led into making some pretty bad choices that look like good choices at the outset. Now, let me explain that. There are some caveats here. So I'm not saying that all outsourcing your HR as an outsourced HR consultant is a bad thing to do. I just think sometimes as organizations within the healthcare and social care sectors, you don't fully understand that not all HR is built the same. It's just not all the same. And there are multiple options for you. And it's not always the option that outsourcing your HR is the right category for you. But I want to go through this in some depth. So if you bear with me, let's head on over to the whiteboard. This one. House music. Okay, so like I said, straight off the book, full disclosure, I am an HR consultant. So we are here specifically to help businesses within the health and social care sector. But what I want to do is explain exactly through that option, what does this even mean? You know, when you're outsourcing HR, what does that mean? What are you actually doing and what are you getting for your buck? And by the way, is that even the only option and the 100% option that you should go for? And being where I am, you think, Mike's going to say you should outsource your HR. In a lot of circumstances, I will say that. But you need to understand what you're outsourcing and what you're getting in terms of bang for your buck. But absolutely, no, it is not always right and appropriate to outsource your HR. So I'm not here to missell you or to tell you that you always have to outsource your HR to get the results that you want. You don't, right? And where it's not appropriate and where that doesn't fit, even if you're on a call with me, I wouldn't tell you to do that. So let's do the whiteboard session. Let's get on with it. So straight away, off the bat, these are your options, okay? We have the option, by the way, look, don't judge the drawings, all right? It's the best I could do on a whiteboard. But your business, that's what that's meant to be, by the way, your business, that little thing there, you've got the option to in-house it. You have the option to employ your own HR practitioner into your business. You can do that. You can get an HR advisor, you can get an HR manager. The problem you have for a lot of businesses is you don't fully understand what level it is you probably need and what comes with that level in terms of experience. And at what point in your business should you even consider this to be part of your team to go out and recruit? So I want to help you out with that. So just from background, when I used to do HR in bigger businesses, when I used to do my HR business partnering type stuff here and there, generally, as a rule of thumb, I would say to you that unless you've got between 200 and 250 staff, then you're probably not at the category where I would consider getting in-house HR. There are caveats to that. There are some businesses where that is the niche. They definitely do need that because they need something on site to support you. But even then, getting yourself into having that dedicated in-house HR is something you should strongly question. So you're looking at, depending on where you are in terms of geography, somewhere between 35, maybe 45 for £1,000 per year for an HR manager or an HR advisor. And as soon as you have a lower number of staff, the problem you have from an HR profession is there is not enough there to be able to consider coming to work for you. It's going to actually be regressive in my career to go and do that from an HR practitioner's point of view. And here's the reason why. Because you will not have enough of the workload to show my continued personal development, like CPD. You just won't have enough there for me to do it. You won't have enough work, grievances, disciplinaries, strategic elements that are going to drive me and be able to help me move to the next stage of my career. I'm also not going to be part of a bigger team, building a team. There's not really much career progression because that HR role is probably going to be it for you. Until you get bigger, you're not going to have a necessity to have to think about getting a bigger team. I mean, we've worked with companies, by the way, in the health and social care sector that had thousands of people all over the UK, and they had about 2 or 3 HR people. So just to put that into some kind of perspective, it's a lot of money and outlay, and the people you'll tend to get are either, and HR consultants that are out there, I'm sorry about this, right? Attack me, put the messages in the comments below, whatever you want to do, I feel you, right? But I'm going to be truthful here for a minute. The fact of the matter is, if you've got below that number, the caliber of HR person you're probably going to attract, not in all cases, I'm not being generalist here, but the caliber of person you're going to attract is probably not going to be the caliber that you are actually looking for, because it's going to be someone who's happy to sit in a role that doesn't perhaps have that career progression, doesn't help them with their CPD, can potentially be regressive, and they're going to do one or two things. They'll either not be great for the company and it won't be great for them, how long is that going to last? Or they're going to try and manufacture and create things to kind of make sure there's a rationale and a reason for why they should be there as part of your business. And to be quite honest with you, that's not what we should be doing as HR practitioners. So it's an option. It's something you can consider. And I'm not saying that if you are below the 250, 200 staff level, you absolutely shouldn't do that. There are some caveats where it can apply, but what I would say is think really carefully before you jump into that one. It won't work in all cases. The second one is you, an ops manager or finance manager or somebody else, or a senior manager, someone who's there, the support manager maybe, who's managing the staff, will take on those responsibilities within your business. This is okay to an extent, especially when you're really small and you're starting up, so below 10 employees, because the amount of stuff you're going to get is going to be low level by that point in time. But as soon as you hit 10 and start going more, statistically, we know you're going to get more work. So this function here will end up being the be all and the end all. And you'll find out that the large chunk of everything you do is to do with your people, and you are fed up with it. And that's not what you want to do in your life and in your career. And I feel that. Here's the other thing. People, if you haven't noticed already, are massively complex. They are difficult. It's not like turning on the printer, which I've said so many times before, and then I realized when I bought a new printer, that ain't simple no more either. But it's not that simple. They are complex entities, important entities. You can't do it without them, but by God, they are difficult as well. And if you don't have the skill set, if you don't have the time, you don't have the qualifications, you don't have the background and the knowledge, this is going to be an uphill struggle, and you could be making a rod off your own back and making things a bit harder that later on you need to unpick. So just to bear that in mind as well. The other one is, of course, to outsource. That is the option. I'm going to come back onto that one separately, because not all outsourcing is equal. That's an important thing. So we'll come back to that one. And the other one is just to do nothing, man. Don't do anything, which, by the way, it is an option. You say that's stupid, Mike, but a lot of businesses and a lot of companies and people within the health and social care sector are doing precisely that. Nothing. And that is the worst option you can pick. So whatever you do, I would say don't do that, but outsourcing. It's not all equal, and it's not for everybody. And on occasions, one of these two might be a better fit for you as a business. Let's take a look a little bit more at the outsourcing route. Okay, so here's the thing about the outsourced element. HR has two sides. It's a coin with two sides. And what I will tell you is 99% of the outsourced HR support that you'll see out there on the market, especially the big guns that you'll see all the time, that people tend to gravitate to, they will focus on one side. And you'll think that's the side that you need the most. And that's kind of seen as the internal police force coming to help you when staff go wrong, people go rogue. How do we help and support with these things? So let's have a look, because there are two sides. And realistically, the majority of outsourced components that you will go for will only give you the one. And by the way, again, I'm not trying to tell you you should go with us. We do cover both. That's not what I'm trying to say. It's about trying to find the right size and fit for you. Now, if I just move my camera slightly, boom, there we go. here we go. Let's get into it. Let's whiteboard this shit up. So, sorry for the cursing, by the way. It's me. I can't be any other way than who I am. So apologies in advance. Now, outsourcing has two sides. This is the common side that you'll see most of the time. So this is the first side, okay? Now, on this side, you'll have things that will be helping you to manage your sickness, staff behavior, doing your staff contracts, making sure you're legally compliant, looking at your staff handbooks, updating that when you get legal changes that will happen at least twice a year, helping to make sure you've got someone to talk to should you need advice. And here's the thing with this. This will be told to you, we're going to do this for you. We're going to take the weight of the world off your shoulders. You're going to be free from this crap for once in your life. You can live, you can breathe. If you've been doing this on your own, you'll be feeling this pain. That was one of the options, remember. You'll be feeling this pain. And it'll be a case of, if you're doing that, we're going to take the weight of the world off your shoulders. That's my first point, is in a large degree of these situations, that's just not actually what happens in reality. I'm not trying to say people are lying to you. I'm just saying in reality, that ain't what happens. Reality is, what happens is you talk to somebody and you phone them up and you say, hey, Mr. HR person or Mrs. HR person, I have this problem with my member of staff. What can we do? And they say, well, this is what we'll do. We're going to whiz across a template to you and you're going to fill it in. And by the way, if you get this wrong and you don't do what we say, we're going to take your insurance away from you. So you have to still do everything. You'll have to talk to multiple people. You'll have to explain the situation over and over again. And at the end of it, you'll still have to do it anyway. So rather than take things off your shoulders, it simply adds more processes to the situation. It's not alleviating you from the process. It's just adding more. So that's not necessarily, when you go into this, what you want. And I touched on another part there. What you'll tend to find, especially if you get your insurance through companies like this, so protect you from employment tribunals and other bits and pieces, they tend to tag on the insurance component too. And if you don't do exactly what they say on the tin, then realistically, they hold a key of what you can and can't do as an organization. Because if they do this, you choose to do something else, or you have an individual within your team and it flat out isn't working, and you're looking for, how do I manage this? Or is there a manageable way out for all sides that doesn't put anybody in any legal routes or any of those things, right? They may help you, and still come back to you, and they may also say, we don't want you to do it that way. We want you to do it this way. And there could be reasons for that, by the way. I'm not saying that they're just doing this for some kind of scrupulous need, but you lose an arm of decision-making within your own business. Now, if you're a business owner, you've got somebody else that's not part of your business that you're paying money to that has an overruling authority on what you can and can't do. Because the options are, you either do what we say, or alternatively, if anything goes wrong, gets messy, you're not covered from your insurance and it's going to cost you money, big money. And I don't think people really understand that fully when they get into bed with these sorts of things. Something to consider if you're looking to outsource. Now, the other side to this is really important. This could be the fluffy element of HR. If this is your police force stuff, this is definitely the fluffy stuff. But what I will say, I'm not trying to window dress it in that way, but this is not the sexy component all the time. But if you don't do this component, you end up with a lot more of the police force stuff. Doing some of this stuff avoids some of this shit happening in the first place. So if you can avoid the mess hitting the fan in the first place, would you not want to do that? I would. If I can avoid having the problems in the first place and make it easier to manage those problems, I wouldn't need to do so much of these things to make sure that I remain legally compliant in the police force stuff. So this is the flip side that you don't typically get when you outsource your HR. Now I say typically because there will of course be other HR consultancies just like ourselves that will tend to do some of these bits and pieces. What I would say is a lot of the bigger ones, without naming any names for legal reasons, they look and sound exactly the same, maybe with a different logo, different colors on the website, but are pretty much the same thing. You get this, You do it yourself, you hear from nobody whatsoever, and we're not going to give you any value that's going to make any difference to your business unless there's something wrong. And when there is something wrong, we're going to get you to do it anyway. And if you do it wrong or you don't want to do it that way, then we'll take the rug from underneath your feet potentially and take away your insurance. This side tends to look at how do you build teams, build strong teams, unity. How do you engage them and connect your people within your business to the goals of the business? What is it we want to do? What is it we want to achieve over the next 12 months? How does that look and what does it look like? And the vision of that very much is dependent on the people in your business. The people in your business, like them or loathe them, they're the ones that are driving this shit and making it work. So if you don't bring them on that journey, you don't connect what they do on a daily basis to where you want to be in 12 months, in 5 years or 10 years time as an organization, you ain't going to get there and you're going to end up with a lot of this stuff. So connecting people, getting value for money. On average, we are spending somewhere about £30,000 to £35,000 per year on salaries. Now, that's the average salary in the UK, and that may not be where you are. But if you just apply that, we said £35,000 as an example, that's not even including your on costs as an employer. So that's like things like pension and employers' national insurance. If you just said 35,000 and you've got, say, 10 people on board, or even let's just say you've got 20 on board, that's £700,000 a year that you're spending on this. That's why I always say it's the most expensive asset you're going to have by far within your organization. Now, if you were spending that money on anything within your business, you'd want to be looking to get enough value within your organization. It doesn't mean value comes in financial recompense, that you're getting more money back in than what you're spending. You want more value. Value isn't always a financial thing. Sometimes it's the things it does that you don't see a pound or dollar sign against that's going to drive your business, right? That's going to help you to get to those next levels. It has that pound or dollar sign later on down the road, but it's going to add value to you as an organization. Why wouldn't we do that with our people? When you're bringing people in, you're just bringing in any old Joe or Jane off the street into your business just to fill a gap, just to fill a job, just to put a bum on a seat, doesn't mean you're guaranteed to get money back or value within your business. We should be looking at how you get more value in your business. Build better systems, HR-wise. One of the biggest things within this sector, by far, around people problems. And by the way, people problems is one of the biggest problems within these sectors. The biggest problem is going to be recruitment, getting the right people in and doing it effectively. And in retention, at the moment in time, you're struggling to find people to come into your organization. And when you do, you're really struggling to keep them there. So you've got a constantly, revolving door where people are coming in and people are going, people are coming in and people are going. Now, that's never going to change to a degree within the sector because that's just the nature of what we're dealing with. But there are some things you can do to make sure it's not spinning so fast, right? There are things that we can look to achieve to make you a place that people not only want to come and work for, but where they can see they can grow and expand within. And that's where you want to be. We're looking at career pathways after that as well, touching on that about the retention. Increased performance. If you can build a higher increased performance culture, a high performance culture, that's going to really help with a lot of this stuff. Here's the simple thing. High performing people, if they do come into your organization and they see that they're not surrounded, or at least there's a bulk of other high performing individuals within your business, they won't stay. They will not stay there. You need to build a high performance culture to attract high performance people. We want to look at increasing growth through the people in your business too, and also to give a better service, because at the end of the day, that's what we're all here to do. Am I right? We're all here to give a better service. Well, here's the thing. If you can achieve a lot of these things here on this side of the coin, then a lot of this becomes a bit easier. It doesn't mean that this doesn't happen. It just means it's easier to deal with. And it also means, by the way, you have a better, more functioning, more adaptable, more flexible, more cohesive organization underneath. It's really hard to get these things wrong and fail. That's the thing. If you can get these things right, you're pretty driven towards success. Now, that's why only selling one side here really does a disservice when you're outsourcing. So if you are looking to go and outsource your HR, whoever that would be with, You need to make sure that you're getting all of these components to try and help with that. And that brings me on to something else that's really, truly, actually quite unique. So here, listen to this. This one is going to be the key component, because reality check is when you're looking at your HR, when you're looking at your people, when you're looking at the time you're spending on them and all the other stuff, I can nail it down to one predominant factor. And it's the one that you probably haven't thought about. It's probably not been at the tip of your tongue. It's probably not been something that anyone you've spoken to who's trying to sell you HR consultancy services has even spoken to you about. It's not the thing that's on the agenda that they're trying to give you and help you with. It's not on the card of what they're trying to sell. And this is the thing, for me, it's really unique because for us, we don't even sell outsourced HR anymore. We actually give that for free. So we give the HR support for free because it's really the add-on to help and support what I'm about to tell you, because what I'm about to tell you is what we actually sell and is what we actually do. So this, mixed with all that HR stuff that we just spoke about a minute ago, these are the important things. Whichever way you do this, whether you do this internally, whether you do this through with an outsourced or an outsourced function, this is unique to us. So when you have an organization that's doing this and helping you to do that, genuinely helping to do it and not just, giving it to you to do, if that makes sense. But you need to make sure you're doing this component too, because without this, literally all the other stuff you're buying or getting, it won't make a lot of difference. You're going to still be chasing your tail. You're still going to be in the end doing all that work, doing all the templates, sending out letters, having shitty conversations with staff, getting the revolving door situation going on with people coming in, people going out into your organization, and not really anything you're buying, making a jot of difference to your business, to your teams, to the people that are there. Here's a good statistic for you before I just get onto this on the whiteboard. For a full-time person, 30% of the time that they're awake is going to be spent at work. They're going to be spending that with you, the other people within their teams, the people they're caring for or helping, whatever the case is. That's where their time's going to be spent. That's more time they're going to spend with their family. It's more time they're going to spend with their friends. It's more time they're going to do with anything other than sleep. It's going to be with you. So if they're in an environment, if they're in a place that they're just unhappy, miserable, discontent, don't want to be there, that's going to be a depressive environment. There's no way, unless people are just stuck in desperation mode, that they're going to stay there for any length of time if they're going to be in a place that they don't want to be. And for me, that's why this is really important, because we're looking at relationships here. It's about a good fit between each other. That's a separate video, by the way. But it's about having a great relationship and a connectivity with one another. It's not a forever relationship, but it is a long-term one that you're looking for, right? And without doing some of this, then it's going to be a depressive atmosphere potentially for some people, and it's going to make it harder for you. And that sounds, again, fluffy pie in the sky thought processes, but genuinely, if that is the case, then you're shooting yourself in the foot, because you're not helping you out if you're not helping them. It's a two-way street in these things, and that's the key behind managing people. Let's have a look at what we got on the whiteboard though and talk about what this is. Productivity is king. Don't judge the pictures, right? So productivity is king. It's a happy king. What is productivity? Why is that word so important? And why is that the thing that makes so much difference in comparison to just getting a bog standard outsourced HR that's going to just help with things when I need them? And I don't have to talk to them very much, and they'll be there, and yeah, okay, I've got to do some more work, but at least I've got that support that's there. Why is this so important? And more important than just doing it yourself and just getting on with it, or doing nothing, which was one of those really horrible options that we had as well, right? Here's the thing. You want to measure staff outputs. What is it that I'm actually doing? And making sure that what I'm actually doing on a monthly basis, right? You want to make sure that what I'm doing, what I'm achieving in my work as outputs is measurable. You can see it, and you can see how much of a difference it's making. Is it the right things you're asking me to do? Or are they the wrong things or some wrong things, and it's not having the desired impact? Because ultimately, you should have your goals as a business of where you want to go. And every single role within that business will have a function leading to those goals. Everybody within that run, they have a purpose. They're not just there to sit there and look pretty. They have a purpose in your business. It's important to understand that. Now, here's the thing. If you're measuring time, are they here? How long have they been here? Have they been sat at their desk for that long period of time? How much time did they spend with that particular client? How many clients have they seen in this time? All those things, they're important, but measuring time is the wrong component to measure. We want to measure, what did you do? How much did you do? And how much of what you did made the difference to what we want to achieve? Those are the key things. Because if everybody's putting together and everybody's doing those things and they're more productive, you get a better business. You get an easier life as a manager. You get less of the stuff that we spoke about earlier on in the background, and helps you with all the other stuff that we said that you're unlikely to get from 90% of the people that are selling HR consultancy services. So you can outsource to them. This stuff is really, really key. You get productivity and you can increase the things that people are doing, and it's the things that matter and make a difference to the people you're serving and to the organization overall. It's really hard to have everyone doing that and not grow and not give a great product or service to the people you're there to support. It's really, really bloody hard to not succeed with this. So that's why productivity is king. Productivity is going to make the difference to all of those different bits and pieces. That said, it isn't easy and it does require work. I know we're trying to do less, but without kidding myself, but he says, if you can get this, you actually reduce the level of work you're going to have to do later on down the road, and you're going to have a better outcome. So with us, like I said, we don't even sell outsourced HR anymore. You phoned me up and you said, Mike, can you just give us an outsourced HR component? I'd say, no, I can't sell it to you because we actually give that away for free. And for us, we're going to help put this in place because this is the most important component. I know that if I can put that into place, and with the HR support on the side to help and support with that, truly done for you, by the way. So no templates, no millions and gazillions of people to phone, just the one. If we could do all those things and we can get that put into place, then everything else is going to support you. Everything else is going to work. We know it's going to help to provide better teams, better relationships with your staff, better career pathways, better opportunities to measure what's actually happening. What is the turnover? Giving some metrics, some data, making decisions based on data rather than purely based on emotion. This is going to be key. So whatever you do out of all of these options, what I would say, make sure you have a component that measures productivity. Make sure that you're able to measure what people are doing, and make sure that you're able to measure that what they're doing actually makes a difference to the end goals that you have. Not just the goal over the next month, not just the goal over the next quarter, the goal over the next year at the least, driving forward to over the next 5-10 years. So you've got a roadmap, a trajectory, and people know, I would know as a person working within your business using this, I would know exactly what are the important things that I need to do, but also my job, no matter what job I'm doing, has an impact on you as a business. Here's a story. And by the way, caveat here, I've used this so many times. I don't know if this is actually true. I don't even know if this is true. But whether it's true or whether it's not true, I don't care. I love this story and I love how this feels. So, back during the space race, man trying to launch and land on the moon in the US. And just before they're about to launch the Apollo project with a man to land on the moon, so Neil Armstrong and everybody, before they do that, the President of the United States visits NASA in Florida to go and see what's happening there at Cape Canaveral and make sure everything's okay and just to have a view round and talk to people as they do. And on their travels, they meet somebody, a gentleman who's sweeping the road. Now, I don't know if anyone watching this has been to Cape Canaveral before and seen these tractor type things that take the shuttles, or used to take the shuttles back in the day, to the launch site. They're behemoths. I mean, these things are massive, monumentally big. I mean, these things are some kind of technological kind of advantage and everything else in their own right. Before you launch a rocket, getting this thing built, that's pretty outstanding as well. So they've got to take these things down the road so they can take the rocket to the launch site so it can launch. And the President of the United States walks up to the gentleman sweeping the road and says, "Hey, how you doing? Can you just tell me what it is that you're doing?" And he turns around and he tells the president, "I'm helping to put man on the moon." Helping to put man on the moon, he's sweeping a road. But if he didn't do that, that big vehicle, the behemoth that I spoke about, wouldn't have been able to travel down that road, wouldn't have been able to get the rocket to the launch site, the rocket wouldn't have launched, and man wouldn't have landed on the moon. I know it sounds a bit like an office type process there, but it has a big difference. It means that it doesn't matter what role, what cog you are within the machine, you're a cog in the machine. And everybody has an important place within that mechanism, within that machine. There is nobody too small, and there is no role too small, and there's no role too big. Everybody has a part to play. Understanding your role within that is really, really important and helps with the buy-in of what everyone's on board to try and achieve. Having a load of misfits coming in and just thinking, well, this is my job, I'll just do the job, doesn't have the connectivity. And that doesn't help when you're looking at recruitment and retention problems in any industry, in any organization. Whatever you do, focus on the productivity. Now, if you're interested, by the way, and full disclosure, yes, this part is a plug. And I am telling you, there is a link in the description below to our services so you can go on and register, and I or someone in the team will be able to contact you and talk you through that to see even if what we would offer would be a good fit for you. If it's not, then we wouldn't advise you to take that forward, and we'd advise you to look at other routes or until you get to that stage where you are ready for us to come in and help. But if it is something you want to go through and you want to look at a discovery call, hit the link in the video below, give us a like, give us a share. Thank you very much. I hope this has been helpful for you. If it has, please come back and watch another video. There's going to be loads more. I trust you.